So hi to the show. I am Janet Miller, and I invite you to a magician of a parent, Gitte. Gitte is a life mastery coach, mindful instructor, an mentor, and a best-selling author. But Gitte has also changed the life of so many parents and children with meditation that have changed struggles into sweet sleep times for children and parents. Is the writer and author of the children's meditations in my heart book, and she now has a sequel called Valley of Hearts, and her been published in her native Danish, English, and now Spanish. So Gitte has created this loving environment for parents and their children in her meditation, and it is reveling. So thrilled to have you here. Welcome. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, and you have, your energy is you're just so bright. It's like a light. You know, when I met you, I said, no wonder you bring this energy on it. Just huge. And I'm so to have people learn you and more people that don't know about you, because obviously well known already. But Gitte, you revolutionized bedtime for parents and children around the world. Can you tell us how you started, led you on your journey to writing the books?
Yes. Well, I wrote a book in 2012 called Student Life Without Stress. I wrote it as a ghostwriter for a student counselor. And when I saw the scary statistics about our youth with stress and depression and anxiety, I looked at my own two girls, and they were aged 3 and 6. And I was beginning to wonder, what do you need to learn in order to cope with the society you're growing up in as being a child of the digital age? What is different? I thought I was on maternity leave for 4 years. I worked part-time from home. I was doing everything right, but I thought there was something else they needed to be taught. And what had helped me a lot throughout my adolescence and my growing up and through my 20s and 30s was mindfulness and meditation. And I thought maybe there was a way you could actually teach those tools to children at a very young age. I felt that they might need different ways to create peace within themselves. That wasn't necessary to teach me and my sister as we grew up in the 70s. So I particularly love heart meditation. I love meditating and expanding love from your chest through your body and out into the universe. And I just started telling different meditation I had been taught in class when I was trained to become a healer and a mindfulness instructor. And I just started telling them as bedtime meditations for my children when they were 3 and 6, and today they're 10 and 12. And I'm still just telling them these stories every night almost. And when I see that there are different stories that they really connect to, and when they keep asking for the same kind of stories, I write them down and I share them with other parents. They might also find the benefit of these meditations. And it seems like a lot of people can relate to them.
Absolutely. I mean, as you said, it's changed people's lives in ways that, these type of things, and not that it's simple. It's a beautiful event to bring into your life, children, and then the changes that occur. People are just amazed, which is so beautiful. And I was teaching parents how important love is, which is really what your books. And you have started teaching children and their parents at very young ages, as you started with your own. So this is really helping people's consciousness, which is what whole journey is here, to move into that. And how do you feel this change, and have you seen it happening from your perspective?
Well, the biggest change for me is that the parents seem to think that there is something wrong with their child because the child can't sleep, or they have to fix the child. Whereas the method that I bring on in the books is actually more about changing the energy in the parent. And being a parent today is tough. I was just at a meeting today in a suburb to Copenhagen, and I met an 85-year-old woman on the street, and she just stopped me on the street and started talking about what was wrong with how we live today, and how women were supposed to be so many different things and work so hard, and how the companies were demanding so much from the employees. And she was just saying everything is so different from when I was a young mother. And the things that she points out is that we're busy parents, right? So when we come home from work, or we pick up the kids and we make dinner, and we're already thinking about what we have to do for the next working day, or after the kids are in bed, or next weekend, or whatever. We're always ahead in our mindset. We're always thinking about future events, future projects. And that means that when we walk into the bedroom with our children and we're getting ready for nap time, or for sleeping at night, we bring that energy into the room, and that completely transmit over to the child. So the child is met in the parent's energy that is a busy, stressful energy, and that hypes up the child, that brings that vibe into the energy field of the child. So what we actually do with the children's meditations in my heart is that we also shift the energy of the parent. So not only the child is meditating, but the whole way the story is written and told makes the parents reflect about his or her own energy and shift it into this heart energy. And when we do that, it's like opening up a room in our energy of love that the child can crawl into and feel safe, loved, and feel the presence of a parent. Because you can read any kind of book as a stressed out parent, you can read any kind of book without even being present. But you can't with this book, because it's all about your love. So as you speak about your love, you start to think about your love, and you start to feel your love, and you start to connect your child. And when we connect to our children heart to heart at bedtime, it's not hard for them to sleep. So it goes from having spent 2 or 3 hours in the bedroom with the child, walking out to and from the room so many times, getting exhausted, getting angry, getting frustrated. And then all of a sudden we have a method here full of love. It takes 10 minutes and the child is sleeping. And what actually is happening is the shift in the parent's energy. Mm. So that's the biggest surprise to many people, that a child that can't sleep, you can actually help the child by helping yourself feel your heart and fill it up with love.
Yeah, and it's just amazing to hear stories share. I mean, looking, I've heard a lot of your stories on your website, how you've shared with parents. Parents have some really interesting occurrences. Do you want to tell us a couple? That would be kind of happens to parents when their children, that you have to use people through.
Well, typically is this awakening that happens to a parent. So I remember one of the women who came to one of my workshops, because I've been teaching this method at many workshops, and she was a mother who lives with her son. He was I think 4 years old, and he couldn't sleep at night. They had a great relationship. They were together all the time. Nothing wrong except for bedtime. He just didn't want to let go. And her sister bought my book for the family, and the mother started reading the stories, and he closed his eyes, as I suggest they do, and he got all quiet and calm. And after 20 minutes, she didn't want to stop reading because she didn't want to ruin the magic. So after 20 minutes, she walks out of the room. And this is the funny part, because every parent who is trying to get a child to sleep knows every little part on the floor that might say a word or, little sound. So she was tapping out of his room, trying not to make a noise. And she sits on the couch, at the front of the couch, and she's ready to run to him, but he doesn't make a sound. And she walks back up into his room and opens the door, and he's sleeping. And she just starts to cry because she realizes that what just happened was a change in her energy. She just read a different, because in Denmark, we tend to read a lot of bedtime stories. That's part of our culture, that we read to the children at bedtime. So a lot of parents actually read to their children. This is just a different way of reading, because it's a shift in your energy. And she realized that it was all about her.
Yeah, that's, I wish I knew about your books that I was young, because he was a could not get in about 10 books at night to calm and keep him quiet and get him, and then he would still not, let you go till he totally fell asleep, which took time of time, as you said. So it's a gift for parents, and what a beautiful change to everyone.
Yeah.
And the whole world shift, really, people's world thinking shifts, because then they really look at the world in a different way when this type of occurrence in their life. And some of these important discoveries you made, children are reading your books, and you them conscious parenting. What is conscious parenting? What you've been telling us. Is there anything else you want to tell us about that?
Well, conscious parenting for me is also knowing, becoming conscious of your own energy, like knowing that the way you feel, that like the child is a master detective of understanding your energy. And we can't hide anything from our children. So we see this with toddlers, or even like when they're 1 year old, you sit in the car, you're driving somewhere, and you don't really feel like going to this party or visiting whoever you're visiting. And you put on this smile and say to your child, it's going to be fun. And you feel terrible inside. And the child is just crying. Like they read you're nervous. They read your anxiety. They read that it's comfort. So even when they're so young, they read us so well. And we tend to forget about that as they grow older. We might not even understand it as they're very young. But when they grow older, we start to communicate only in words. So we have ears and we have our mouth. And we tend to only use those to communicate. And we might not even listen really. So we speak a lot as parents, but do we actually listen? And when we know about conscious parenting, we begin to feel. And we begin to understand the energy between the child and ourselves. So we begin to understand what's actually going on behind those words. So it takes a little training and a little adjusting. And the book is helping you at bedtime. And you can begin to take some of the routines from the book into your everyday routines with your children. So it is a different way of parenting. And it has a lot to do with understanding that we affect our children in so many ways. And if only we take care of ourselves, our children will be all right. Most of the children who are diagnosed today with all different kinds of diagnoses, most of the children who are stressed out, it's our stress that we are putting onto them.
Yes. You talk how the world is and the children are changing. How do children today compare to children of the past growing up?
Well, I do believe that each generation is an upgrade of the previous, and I think the souls that are sent to the earth are sent on a special mission, and right now we're at a pretty bad stage. So the parents are suffering. There's so many parents full of stress and depression and anxiety. The planet is suffering. There are so many things wrong with how we live, how we build our societies, and luckily, like you and I and many other light workers have awakened and are trying to make a difference, and we are quite a few now, so we don't need to feel alone anymore on this quest of trying to make everything better. And the children know, so I think they are here with open hearts in a different way that we've seen before, and they are an open heart on a mission to heal with their love can very easily be translated as being a sensitive child, like a vulnerable child. So I believe they're here to really make us pause, because what I see in my coaching clinic is that the parents come in and I see them being really exhausted, but they don't come and start to heal before the child is suffering. So the child becomes the voice that makes them stop. Unfortunately, it's a little late that the parents hear the cry for help, because the child has already suffered a lot before the parents actually react. So I think they're not more sensitive. I think they're more open spiritually, and I think they have even bigger hearts, because that's really what the world needs right now.
Well, that's what they're children of today from 0 to 5 are the change makers that take care of everything that's wrong on our planet, which I don't want to put the burden on them necessarily, but, and, the change that are happening on the planet is so important. And this is doing to change, energy. And it's a beautiful thing. And don't feel children fragile. Like I remember, the children are not more fragile, like, because of all the TV and the games and the fun. I mean, their whole consciousness is shifting because they're either in their heart or they're very out in the technological world. So I don't know do you put parameters on your children for that kind of stuff? Do you watch what they do? Do you feel that's important for parents to be with that?
Oh yeah. I'm the strict mom. Just today I had a conversation with my 12-year-old if she could download the McDonald's app that everybody was playing with, so that she could go and have a cheeseburger with her friends. And I said, I'll happily pay for your cheeseburger, but you're not downloading an app that you have to be 16 years old to download. Oh, yes. And everyone else has that app, right? So you gotta set your limits. Whether or not you like McDonald's, that's not the question here. It's more about allowing an app to be downloaded that she doesn't have the proper age for. And so you have to go against the current as a parent as well and set boundaries for your children. So I have screen-free Tuesdays at my household. I have screen-free vacations, screen-free mornings, and no screen 2 hours before bedtime. And I'm even experimenting with my husband and I and how we use our screens as well, because it before you know it, it's just too much.
Is I watch people in my own family. They have one device in their lap there, and then they're watching TV. It's like, how do you do this? It's a lot. It's a lot. No wonder your thinking can be scattered. During people, and the focus point is if children are focused because of computers and phones and those kind of things, and we don't want to see that happen. We want them to. That's why I feel books are so important. Like you have to, I like a book in my hand. I hold that book. Kindle and all that is wonderful, but really the tangible, I like to feel it and hold it. Yes. And I important for children to appreciate books. Yes. And so meditations is so important. They start right there. Yes. And you can start reading them to children as early as what? It's out of the nest, right out of the birth canal.
Yeah. Well, actually, in the States.
True. Well, they're in so pregnant, you can be reading to the child. I think I did that actually. Now that you say that, because I was ahead to see what else can I do. And it's important. Go ahead.
No, I didn't want to stop you.
No, I wanted to hear what you had to share on that, because that's a beautiful thing to teach parents about teaching them before the child's born. Yes. That is fabulous.
So at least, I'm not sure how it is in the United States, but here in Denmark, we are talking a lot about the first 1,000 days of a child's life. So pretty much the first 3 years. There's a lot of research coming out that the first 3 years are so defining for the rest of the child's life. And I think that is so important, and how we put them in daycare before they even one, and we leave them for 8 hours a day, and all of that is very much debated in Denmark, as well as the quality of daycare and kindergartens. I think we're going to see a change in the research to moving into pregnancy. So it's going to be 1,000 days and then the 9 months before the baby is born. And I think there's going to be more and more research coming out to say how important it is how the mother is feeling during pregnancy, and how her cortisol levels and stress hormones are affecting the baby. We already see some research on this, and I think it's so interesting. So what I have reflected on with my methodology, because I do get emails from yoga teachers and other prenatal classes, like teachers who teach prenatal classes. They say that they can help mothers connect to the child in the womb with the children's meditations in my heart. And I think it's so important to understand the connection that we create during pregnancy to our child. So as, again, we're busy parents, we're busy mothers, so we go to work all through our pregnancy, and we might not have time to really reflect and feel and bond and connect with the child. Mm-hmm. So what I offer here is to actually already begin the heart-to-heart connection in the womb. And I was just with a researcher today who also are going to look into this, and I think we're going to see a change from 1,000 days plus 9 months. And I'm very curious to see what the researchers are coming up with, because it makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, absolutely. Because I know before I had my son, I learned how to do nursing. I wanted to teach my child. I actually went called La Leche League and joined while I was pregnant, just to learn how to do it, because I said, once the baby comes, I have to know what I'm doing, kind of, because it's going to be really stressful. No idea what I'm doing. So yes. This is so with what you're saying, to be there, so present with your child, and all for the parents' emotional state while they're for the mother while she's pregnant, to yes. really relax. And it's a mother should be, it's a wonderful new thing. Say, it's for them a restful state, time themselves. I mean, to your books, it's so beautiful for the mother to yes. just sit with. As you said, busy parents are so busy, and so they don't think of taking care of themselves. Like, especially most of them are. So it's too fast, too working all the time now, and a mom really needs to, especially because she's in charge of the baby, and she's in charge really because it's her body doing the work, and to take care of that and that beautiful presence. Meditation like yours. I don't know if I could say this on this show, but I'm going to be a mother, and I have told this show actually I should be safe. So I was told not to yet, but I'll be all right by then. And I'm laughing because now that they about the before in the pregnancy, to share that with my daughter. And for her just to know, because she's working full time, and she's a very busy woman, and but she's very devoted to, I know she takes her, it's a beautiful soul. So this would be just one more facet to help her enjoy her pregnancy, and any mother who's in this situation. So that is a great idea.
As a family project. So if she has a partner, her partner can also read the stories to the baby in the mother's womb. And even if she had an older sister or brother, that sister and brother could. I'll just show you the meditations here. So in there, this is the book, right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
And we have 4 meditations inside one book. And in the first one, the child is taught to fill her heart with love for herself, self-compassion. And in the second, she's taught how we can share our love. We already do it. She already knows a lot about it, but we put words to what we do every day when we send and receive love. And you see a big sister, a big brother, 2, 3 years old, 4 years old, can already begin to bond with her sister or brother in the womb. Because when we talk about this with our parents, it will be very easy for the child to also begin to connect to the child. So once the baby is born, it won't be such a stranger coming out of the womb, because you're already connected heart to heart. So I think that's really beautiful. And also for the fathers are busy too. So just sit 10 minutes a day. That's all I'm asking, 10 minutes. To just connect your heart and to the people around you that you love. And once you've done that 2 or 3 times and you see the magic coming out of it, you're going to expand it to 15 minutes and 20 minutes. And you're going to do it in the morning. And you do it when you see your child. And it just grows into a way of living, right?
Absolutely. And that's like pebble in a pond. It's spread whole world, which is what you're doing. You're spreading this beautiful teaching throughout the world, and it's fabulous. And I love that you brought in the fathers, because the fathers, are always, they're there.
Yes.
And the fathers, they, while in the womb, oh my goodness, bonding. And that's what it makes the husbands have a part in it. They feel even more connected,
Yes.
because always happens to the woman, and all the physicality parts of it. The father, it's an emotion of the father, because he can only be a support.
Yes.
And so to be able to share beautiful emotional,
yes,
that really is a beautiful right there. Wow.
Yeah,
So,
I love it. And you can even imagine having the love if it's the first time you're pregnant, you can have the father send the mother love, and the mother the child, and the child the father, or the other way around. But you can make this unity already, and that will make the family bond begin way before the baby is born. And when the baby is born, it's a different way of connecting with your child. So you hold this baby and you're like, who are you? And like, what is this? And how do I put on the diaper and all of that you don't have any experience with. But when you have done this before the baby comes out, and many mothers, I should say, do this all naturally. They connect with the child, and some fathers also connect with the child in the womb all naturally. So for some people listening in, they will say, I did this. I didn't need a book for it. And I'm just, yes. And I love that you did it by instinct, right? But for some who have a harder time connecting to the child in the womb, if they had been reading these meditations, when they come out, they will say, oh, I know you because I felt you. And I know your heart energy. And I love you already. And I've loved you ever since we connected the first time. So I know you, and then I know I can take care of you. So it's also going to diminish the way we worry as new parents. And I was just talking to a dream expert the other day, Michael Rode, a Danish dream researcher, and he's writing a book about pregnant women's dreams. And if there is something, if you could take all these dreams and just add it up to what do pregnant women dream about, it's some kind of worry that I'm not going to be a good enough mother. That the baby doesn't fit into my life right now. It's not going to work out. We all worried that this new role as a mother we're not going to be good enough at it. That's like so many pregnant women dreaming these dreams. I dreamt them myself when I was pregnant the first time. And if we could somehow also fill up our hearts with love for the child, so those dreams will be affected. We won't walk around. And he says that a lot of these girls, women who talk to him, say, I haven't even told my husband this dream because it's so, I did so bad. Like I killed the baby, or I killed my mother in my dream, and I don't even want to say it. And they just filled up with all these worries. And dreams are just a reflection of, it doesn't have to be about killing your baby or killing your mother. It's just about the relationship will change now that the baby comes. And so he interprets the dreams, and then they're not scary at all. So say we have all these scary dreams, and am I going to be a good enough parent and all of that, and we at the same time have the connection, it will reassure the mother that she's good enough, and that she, like, as long as I feel this strong love, everything is going to be all right. So I can't wait to see what happens with the research for these 9 months, because I think it's going to be crucial.
Oh yeah, I mean it's grounding, and it's great in our society to look at. I mean, I don't know if the U.S. is looking at that, but I see that you are starting it, and so people are getting it through you in this show, which I think is so special.
Yes. Yeah,
I think they read. Of them do try to. I mean, I know I did, but then, and I just think it's an important thing to have in your life that are, and so you're making a major contribution. So what else do you have any special message to today you would like to tell them, especially like for 2019?
Yeah, well, I think one of the other things that we need to look at is how we talk about our love with our children. So I know a lot of parents say, I love you, and I know the children feel that they are loved. But I also know that we have a lot of anxiety, and we have a lot of people with separation anxiety, a lot of kids with separation anxiety, and they have a hard time being away from their parents for the long school days. And if the parents are divorced, they constantly miss one or the other parent. So what I propose in the third meditation is to teach the children about the little love cloud. And we had a little cloud produced in Nepal. So this is a little love cloud, and you hang it on the school bag. And what it does is that every time the parent think about the child throughout the day that we're not together, or the week that the child is living with the other parent, all that love ends up in the cloud. So every time they squeeze the cloud at school, they're taught how to drag the cloud down and get a hug from the person they miss. And that could also be a grandmother. It could even be somebody who's in heaven already, or like a good friend they miss if they moved far away. So I'm an expert in homesickness because I've lived in 7 different countries. So the first time I lived abroad, I was 15, and my parents took us to live in Berkeley in San Francisco. And ever since, I've lived in many other countries, and I know the pain in the heart when you miss someone. So it was so important for me to actually share the knowledge I got as I got older, that the love is the same no matter where we are, and that it travels, energy travels. So the child can actually collect the parents' love on a distance. And I can tell you so many stories of children who have found peace and can now go to school without crying, or can better cope with living in 2 different families as the parents are divorced, or the father is working abroad in military families, or there's so many ways that parents are separated from their children, and I think that's very important to teach our children today, because we are separated from our children way too many hours a day. They should be hanging on our backs like we see in Africa, right? But and joining us where we work, but that's not reality. So we need to teach them that the love isn't gone because the parent is gone.
Wow, that's a message. I love that you brought in the moving part, but also, and all, parents who travel a lot in their jobs, those type of people, or on planes, they come home with things. So, that the situations are always happening, and this is a beautiful link with parents and the child.
Yes.
It awakens connection, and it gets out of the mundane work day. It sort of breaks up your day and go, this child heart right here. And that's a beautiful connection. Talk about being in unit consciousness. You're bringing just with this little tool of the cloud, which is it's beautiful.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's also quite, and it's very healing for the parent as well.
Yes.
So imagine a soldier far away from home on a mission, feeling guilty because he has left his family behind. His children might not be in good state because he's abroad. They might fear for his life for good reason. And every time he calls home, they cry because they miss him. And the mother is having a really hard time with the children because the children are not doing well because they miss their father or the mother if it's a mother being abroad. And when you have war into like this, the whole perspective of they might lose the parents, it gets even worse, right? So imagine this conversation between the soldier and the child before he goes abroad or goes on a mission, that we are connected no matter where I am. Whatever happens to me, we will always be connected heart to heart. Imagine how that affects him while he's on a mission, knowing that his child knows that they are connected, that there is no disconnection. He might be at a different place, but the love is the same, and he still sends it. And they can connect heart to heart, even though he's so many miles away. I think it affects the child. It reassures the child. It helps the mother. But it certainly also affects the soldier who's on a mission, that he doesn't feel the guilt and all of what comes with not having a family back home that isn't thriving, right?
Sure.
And that's soldiers. Then you have all the other occupations of parents working abroad or whatever they do.
And there's mother soldiers too who
Yes,
are out there.
Yes.
And that really another facet of that, what you're doing, and love.
I just have a corporate collaboration with the Danish Army right now to test out how we can help the veterans.
Wow, that's a fantastic.
With meditation.
I love that.
Yes.
You would get a huge amount of people with that to connect with that, I think. This is on your website. You can connect with your and get that little piece and your books, all that. Can you purchase through your website? And you're also on Amazon. So you're on Amazon. Yep.
Yes.
Selling little tool. Will it go through Amazon too? The little tool, the little cloud?
The little cloud is only selling on our website because it's handmade in Nepal. So we only have limited editions of that. But especially for the parents who deal with anxiety with their children and separation anxiety, it's a good little tool.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Yep. These are all such gifts for parents coming in, up and coming parents. And, for parents and, so many people that just, find a new way to connect with their grandchildren, especially when this is like perfect work to just sit still and say, look at this and connect heart to heart in this beautiful way. And we all benefit from it. It's a huge benefit to all of us.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that. I know you have an amazing gift for our audience, so please tell us about that.
Yes. So I've sent over to you 2 books to share with the viewers. So I think you're going to make a little competition, yes. So 2 of you can actually win the book if you comment on this conversation and let us know what you feel about heart energy and how you'd like to connect with your child in this way. And also there's a free giveaway for everybody on my website where you can get an excerpt of the book and get a little sense of what the book is all about.
So what they are, so you'll see them anyways. You can pick the person that you feel should get the space.
Yeah.
It would be to pick it because it's your book, and I think that would be one. So I would all love our audience to send us any emails, as we just said, about what you liked about the show, any in particular insights. If you have any questions for Gitte, she'll have a link in the show, and we love reading all of feelings about the show and the feedback we get. And thank you again for sharing your magic, brilliant, and being a catalyst for parents. You showed them how to unlock their passions, ignite their authenticity, and finally create the life they love. And I love it, and I'm so blessed and to share this world, share you with your mess world. And I am Jenna Miller, and I'll see you on the next episode.